I wonder if you can hear my cat. Aww. Never leaves my side. Welcome back to my channel. Before I get into this video, I wanted to just please remind everyone to subscribe. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed. I have 600 subscribers. I feel like that's an insane amount. Okay, let's get into this video featuring my cat. This video is me ranking all the films I've reacted to this year. My channel it's dedicated to celebrating and highlighting female directors. There's a huge gender gap when it comes to directors in Hollywood, and I wanted to take the time to highlight them and give them their flowers and their praise. But let's get into the rankings. At number 5, I have Babes by Pamela Adlon. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly. I definitely wanted this to be in my top 5 just because of the subject matter. I feel like it was such a refreshing take on pregnancy.
I don't know the medical term for this, but your vagina looks like it's yawning. Like,
I feel like everyone kind of just assumes when you become pregnant or you become a mom, you just automatically become this like all-knowing, very nurturing, maternal person, and that's just not the reality. That's not the reality at all. I don't know why it took my cousin getting pregnant and me being by her side her entire pregnancy to realize women are just people. They are just themselves, and when they become pregnant, they are just themselves, now pregnant.
It did not tell me how sexy it is to be pregnant. Were you crazy horny?
hey.
Because I thought my cousin was gonna like morph into like my idea of my mom and like our moms or whatever, but she was literally just the same person she has always been, but now she has this like huge stomach where the baby is. That's the only difference. She was still making her raunchy ass jokes, she was still being her delightful self, and much like Alana's character, she was just herself, now pregnant. And I love this representation of women in pregnancy and how scary and exciting and nonsensical that whole journey is, not only just for like the person that's pregnant, but their support system. And I thought it was just like a beautiful film about pregnancy, motherhood, and friendships. So it was just overall amazing film, and it's so underrated. I feel like more people should be talking about this movie, watching this movie. It definitely, I hope at some point, develops like a cult following and gets its flowers. But Babes, top 5. And then next on my list, number 4, was Megan Thee Stallion's documentary, Megan Thee Stallion in Her Words. This documentary was just so well done. I feel like I really got to meet Megan on a much more personal level. I don't know how to describe it. I really don't know. I just really enjoyed this film because it made me emotional. Oneka Onora. I've been practicing how to say her name. Oneka Onora. I hope I'm saying it correctly. She is the beautifully brilliant woman behind the Megan Thee Stallion documentary. She directed it, and I loved her direction with it. It made me really feel that like I wasn't watching something informative on Megan Thee Stallion, but it felt more so like a personal interview I was having with Megan Pete. So brilliant woman. I already love Megan Thee Stallion. Her and her music already bring me so much joy and motivation and gives me so much confidence to show up as myself. I didn't need this documentary to have empathy for her or feel for her or get to know her. That already existed pre-documentary, but the fact that she came out with this documentary and I got more of like an insider look at her journey and her life, it made me really emotional because I just felt like it was such a vulnerable piece of art. It deserves its flowers. Everyone should have watched this documentary. She was so vulnerable and honest and raw and authentic, and that's kind of refreshing coming from a celebrity nowadays, considering that like social media and like just the nature of celebrities in general, especially when you're putting on a persona to perform. And I know people can kind of step into that persona and lose themselves into that persona. And I love that with this documentary we were able to step back for a second and just meet Megan Pete, the person behind Megan Thee Stallion. So that's why I love it. So it was, I feel like, a really good documentary that everyone should watch. Next on my list, The Holiday. I loved The Holiday. It's definitely an older movie. I feel like it had commercial success back in the day, and it's having a resurgence around the holidays just because aside from being a rom-com, it's still also like a holiday film. Plus it's called The Holiday and it's like set around the holiday time, so that's why it always kind of has this newfound resurgence of popularity. It was the first time I'd watched it. It was a really good film. It was directed by Nancy Meyers. I feel like it's still kind of timeless. It's about these two women who can't believe that they're still dealing with this to this day, like situationships and breakups and the messiness of dating awful men, and then finding like some really great guys. Like, that journey that they both went on was just it was so funny and entertaining to watch, and also like so sincere and heartfelt in a way that it wasn't super cheesy or cringy. It just felt very nice to watch. It's like, I kind of feel like I missed the last chopper out of Nam, and I am trying to survive in the jungle dating, and this rom-com did exactly what rom-coms are supposed to do and restore my faith in dating and men. And it did that, because these guys were cute and they were respectful, and they were definitely men that were written by women. So that's why I like this movie. Although the premise of the film and some elements of it were definitely like, you had to suspend your belief and just kind of subscribe to this being a film. And there was a lot of elements of it that like broke the fourth wall and were purely for entertainment purposes, and it wasn't based in reality at all. But there was some moments, some like hidden little gem moments that were so authentic and real, and like honest portrayals of like love and relationships and being vulnerable with a partner, that I just thought was like so touching. And it made it so apparent that this film was directed by a woman.
I'm in love with you.
So yeah, that's why it's number 3 on my top 5 for all films I reviewed this year. Go Nancy Meyers. So the second one on my list is Saltburn. Although Saltburn came out last year, I watched it at the beginning of this year. So many things with Saltburn. It was Emerald Fennell's sophomore film as a director. Her first one was Promising Young Woman. And that's the whole reason I watched it, just because I love her first film she ever did. I feel like she has such a unique mind, and she creates these and writes these like original screenplays. So I feel like now, with the rising cost of movie productions and studios getting larger and larger and funding just bigger movies that can only really make them more and more money, we're kind of seeing the disappearance of like mid-budget movies. I feel like she did so much with, I wouldn't say so little. I feel like now with like the Barbie movie and Wicked, you hear about these movies that are, their budgets are in like the hundreds of millions of dollars, and they have to make hundreds of millions of dollars to even break even. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, and a lot of it, they either bank on things that they know are gonna make money, like the Barbie movie, or they bank on spin-offs and sequels and things like that, things that people are already anticipating, and they know there's a set dollar amount that it's guaranteed because people are already invested in the story. So what I love about Saltburn, I love about Emerald and the way she kind of writes, it's so different and unique, and I love that studios are like taking this risk with her, the same way that people took risks with the Daniels and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, that was an original screenplay. I love these new original films, and I want to see more of it, and Saltburn was definitely that. Like, the fact that people were making edits about Jacob Elordi from this film, and that people were talking about the bathtub scene, like, that was insane. Also, the graveyard scene, like, these are just things that are like so out of left field, because it is just one of those films that is just like, what did I sit down and watch? Like, what is even going on? It just left me so shocked and reaffirmed my belief that Emerald Fennell is a brilliant director. So that's why it's top 2. Drum roll, please. American Psycho. American Psycho will always be my number 1. As far as like women-directed films, number 1. I love it for so many reasons. It's definitely like a classic. When I think of movies that's like a classic and it's like stand the test of time, that we should be studying in school, that we need to give her flowers, it's definitely American Psycho. Everything about this film, the plot, the screenwriting adaptation, the characters, the acting, the music, everything about this movie is just chef's kiss, so fucking brilliant. My favorite thing of all time regarding this film is that like a lot of pretentious film guys that are like, women can't make films and like guys are better and blah blah blah. One of their favorite films of all time is this movie, and my favorite thing to ever tell them is like, you know, a woman directed this, right? Yes. And I think that detail also makes like the heinous things that Patrick does that much more believable. I just feel like had the director been a man, I don't know if he would have gotten the same performance from Christian Bale. That's the thing. although a lot of guys like this film because they see themselves as Patrick Bateman and they think that's a person they should aspire to be, Mary takes that character and is telling the world, don't be this guy. This guy is absolutely the worst person you could possibly be. This is a caricature of all that is toxic masculinity, and we need to eradicate this kind of behavior. And I don't understand why guys look at this film for what it is and they're like, I want to be like that guy. So those are my top 5 films that I've reviewed this year. I want to know, what are your top 5? Were there any films that you saw that I didn't, that you really liked, maybe you wish I would review for this next upcoming year? Let me know. Comment it below. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.